Hey cats, it's your midsole man EDDBUD here. Time for a running related news roundup. We've got a wild new shoe manufacturing process from the Swiss shoemakers On. It really does have to be seen to be believed. Also finally a release date for the PEGASUS Plus from Nike, a very quick look at the recent mini launch of the Endorphin Elite 2 from SAUCONY, which I sadly missed out on, and of course I'll run you through the recently or soon to be released running footwear. Let it roll. Thanks for tuning in, people. It is always appreciated. Do hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already, and give this video a thumbs up like. It also helps us out if you comment for the algorithm. Dankeschön. First story up today, we finally have a release date for the Pegasus Turbo 4, Pegasus Plus, long-awaited reboot of the favourite running shoe from 2018 from a lot of the viewers actually. August the 8th, 2024 is the date, so put it in your diaries. This time we appear to have a ZoomX only midsole, but from these better images it's not actually clear whether it's the same ZoomX as we expect to see in something like the Alphafly 3 or Vaporfly 3. There does at least appear to be a thicker coating on that midsole material, or it could be that there is some type of carrier foam around the ZoomX. There's certainly not those telltale creases that we've got in the sidewalls of the foam that we get on the Vaporfly or the Alphafly. Anybody who's got a pair of those will know what I'm talking about. Nobody's got these shoes in hand yet, so we can't really tell exactly what's going on, but we'll have them soon. $180 for this one, which was exactly what the original Pegasus 35 Turbo was when it released back in 2018. So you could say it's somewhat survived the inflation increase, though in fairness, as it stands, it's not actually really that close to the original shoe. We had React and ZoomX in that one. This is quite different. A Flyknit upper and 7 different colorways on launch, spread across the men's and women's version of the shoe. Quite amazing, really. You got the typical muted tones. There's like a black and white one, there's some blue one. The ladies ones all use those same colours that they seem to think ladies really want on their shoes. Though I'm quite drawn to this glacier blue, black, light lemon twist, life lime and total orange and white version. That is a real mouthful, that one. My only gripe on this one as it stands appears to be the lack of traction directly under the arch area of the foot. All of the rubber seems to be in the forefoot and the heel, though I definitely will be picking up a pair on release. I think there's enough interest here in a shoe that people have been crying out for years, where it's returning to the shelves. Hopefully it will be a good one. Probably the most interesting of the soon-to-be released Nike models, certainly in my eyes anyway. A slightly strange one for you now from the archives. We've got the LD1000. Nike are bringing this back. It had a really extreme beveled heel area when it first released. Now this was a running shoe, or at least a very sort of up-tempo running shoe, but now I think very much perhaps a lifestyle model. The waffle outsole was a favourite of many runners back then, but apparently if you didn't land quite right with this one, it could give you all sorts of different problems, knee issues, overpronation, and perhaps longer term injuries as well. And I think they kind of shelved the shoe after a while. That's not stopping Nike from bringing this silhouette back though from the archive. So I think it was first out in 1977. It's kind of mad to realise just how far things have come since then. Of course, we've seen that heel flare in other brands' shoes like Mizuno's Wave Rebellion Pro, and Adidas have always got those crazy heel bevels on the lateral side. Not quite to the extent of the LD1000, but you know what I'm talking about. The heel area on the original LD1000 was about 4 inches wide. I think at the time that was incredibly wide. There's a lot of shoes these days that are very narrow there back in the heel. We got lots of width up in the forefoot, but not so much back in the heel. Perhaps the shoe was just a little bit too ahead of its time for people to truly get their head around. I can't see the aggressive waffle outsole working out too well these days, and I'm too scared to test this one out in terms of the heel at the back of the shoe. What do you make of this strange lifestyle reissue of a running shoe? Is it even still a running shoe? Next up, how about this bonkers new offering from On? On the face of it, actually, it appears completely bizarre, but it's actually a retail model, but they've added a new upper. Everything about this says Wellington boot to me. It's something to do with that red last that they're using. So On have unveiled this new method of It's basically spraying the upper onto the shoe. It's called light spray. It's a 3-minute process to make this upper, by all accounts. It does it in layers and kind of builds it up over time. It apparently creates very little waste, lowers the carbon footprint, and produces a shoe of very low weight. Though by all accounts the sample size for this one's 170 grams, so it's perhaps not all that far off something like the Asics Metaspeed Sky Paris for me. I think that shoe's a couple 100 grams for me, so it's actually not going to be far off that. Maybe even heavier than the Asics shoe. I mean, even the Puma Deviate Nitro Elite 3 is about 220 grams for me, so yeah, those shoes are very low in weight. This one might be around about the same. But they're calling this special version of the shoe the CLOUDBOOM STRIKE LS. It's going to be made available to the public at some point at a $330 price tag. Now, if you convert that to UK Earth credits, you've got about 253 quid, which is actually cheaper than the CLOUDBOOM Strike that they're selling at the moment. I think that's up at about 260. Now, I'm all for innovation and new ideas, and this is quite a cool idea, but I can't really see it actually filtering down into, you know, a general running shoe. I mean, we've had stuff like the Primex Strung, which has got that 3D sort of printed upper. Now, how can this shoe possibly be a good fit for all? There's no laces at all. There's a reason that running shoes, or shoes in general, have laces. They help to customize the fit, and we've had those for like thousands of years. I think that this is very much a way to make the shoe available to the public in a small supply so they can adhere to those specific super shoe rules. I reckon that last itself is literally molded on Helen Obiri's foot, and I really don't understand how this can be a great fit for anybody. I think the spray process itself also must be super critical. If it is off by like even a millimeter or two, whatever, it's going to go completely wrong. And I bet they've used loads of prototypes to get to this one that actually works. I mean, if they're going to charge that sort of money, it's got to be a good fit, but I think it's a little bit of a gimmick. I just can't see how this is going to translate across to, you know, standard running shoes for everyday folks. If it's really light and it's so much better than all the others, then it's a bit pay to win, isn't it? Till then, you got the standard lace-up version of the CLOUDBOOM Strike to do your running in and get some pleasure from. What do you make of this spray-on shoe process? Can you see it taking off? Let me know your comments. Very quick look now at the Saucony Endorphin Elite 2. I did not manage to pick up a pair, sadly. I know there's a few reviews kind of knocking around here and there. Everybody's saying it's extremely soft, and in my experience, the extremely soft isn't exactly what you want for an out-and-out race shoe. I wouldn't call the Alphafly 3, you know, extremely soft. It's very forgiving, yes, it's very cushioned. I don't just want a shoe to absorb all the impact. I kind of want it to feel responsive and sort of springy. A little bit of rebound there, maybe. I really like the original Endorphin Elite. I'm wondering, you know, is this going in the right direction? I know that the FOD runner, Andy, he absolutely loves his Endorphin Elite. Is softness what he wants there? Does he want it to be more sort of responsive and to throw him forward? Did you manage to pick up a pair of the Endorphin Elite 2? Let me know down below in the comments. Don't think there are many pairs of them available. By all accounts, sold out very quickly. I would imagine though that there'll be a significant release in some time in the future, perhaps in the next few months. Okay, there's a barrage of new shoe releases to get through. Lots of stuff actually, some released without any fanfare at all. Hoka fans can grab another EVA daily in the form of a Rincon 4. It appears that though there's two different EVA blends here. There's an injected EVA midsole and then a rubberized section for the outsole, which might break the shoe away a little bit from the very fast wear that we've seen in the previous versions. The Rincon was always light and nimble, yet cushioned model, which had the attractive price tag. I think this one's around about 110 quid now, though I think where we've got the SL2 from Adidas with perhaps a little bit more cushion and of course some of that super foam in form of Light Strike Pro, and I think some people still err towards that one rather than the Rincon. This one's out now with a classic 5mm drop and a 220 gram weight for the sample size. That's very low for a daily shoe. New versions of the Metaspeed Sky and Edge Paris have appeared in the wild and on various retail sites. There's this sort of lemony sunset burst, or whatever you want to call it. Apparently it's safety yellow, but there's definitely red on there. It's quite fetching. I know that my main man Rob Gundry's picked up a pair of the Sky Paris. He just couldn't resist another one. The official colorway of this one is safety yellow and black. And of course we have the black outsole rubber as a hint that this is the edge over the sky. 185 grams of weight here, and that demonstrates that actually this shoe's not all that much heavier than the CLOUDBOOM Strike LS. One last one here in the form of the Saucony Hurricane 24. So it's like a moderate stability shoe. Got Power Run and Power Run PB foams in a combo here. So this looks like a really nice daily cruiser, a little bit of a plusher upper. Perhaps the answer to the Triumph 22 if you found that to be a little bit too soft and squashy. I think this one might have that, but in a slightly smoother kind of form. Hurricane model isn't one that I'm all that familiar with, and I have received a pair from Saucony to test out, so I'm getting a few miles into those now. I think this one's round about 165, so it's coming in a touch cheaper than the Triumph. Perhaps ideal if you need a little bit of medial support, but you don't want it to be too in your face. Okay, that's all the running news for the time being. If you've seen any cool stories, let me know in the email in the description of this video. Very quick musical interlude for you. Summer's come around, I get to listen to a lot more music during the day, which is always nice. I've been back listening to Aesop Rock's Impossible Kid, absolutely fantastic album. Really want to get a copy of this on vinyl. I like buying vinyl like in a store, or, you know, walking in somewhere and finding it. You always remember like when you bought it or where you bought it. I really like the track Supercell from this one. The drum programming's absolutely fantastic. Really interesting use of electric guitar samples and little bits dotted around as well to provide a bit of motion to the track. Kind of weird, almost horror, nightmare-ish, Halloween vibe about the tune. There's some tension there produced by some of the background atmospheres. One thing I really love about Aesop Rock's productions is the fact that the drums almost sound like they've been played by somebody rather than it just being some loop that goes over and over. There's tiny little nuances, there's subtleties to the drum fills that I really enjoy. Just makes it feel like a live track rather than just something that's been programmed. Go and check it out, The Impossible Kid from Aesop Rock. Thanks for tuning in, people. Hope you enjoyed today's running news. Hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up like. Also, comment to help us fight the algorithm. My name's EDDBUD and I'll be seeing you